Hello and welcome to sportsbookreview.com. It's January and it's the start of the Grand Slam tennis season. Taking a look now at the Australian Open, we've got Whale Kappa and Alex from Need for Tips. Guys, really great to have you on the show. How's it going?
Going good. Thank you. Thanks for asking. I was letting Drew talk because it's been a while since he joined the SBR for some live videos.
Yeah, very true. Well, Kappa, how are you looking forward to the season? Obviously, just started Australian Open. Must be some exciting stuff here.
Yeah, I'm very excited. This Australian Open is it's the toughest one for us. I'm on the west coast of the U.S. It's going to be a couple of weeks with not a lot of sleep, but I'm getting ramped up and getting excited for the season. So I'm very looking forward to this tournament.
That's true. And I know sleep depravity is an issue when it comes to capping these tournaments. That's for sure. Obviously, now we don't have the draw out. It's sort of like an early look at the futures. And obviously, first up, Roger Federer defending in his title here, priced 3. Do you think that's a fair price for Roger Federer there, Well Kappa?
It's probably has a little bit of value, and I say that because all of the other guys at the top have red flags, and so you can kind of take one of two approaches to hitting the futures for the Australian Open. You can either say, okay, well, Roger Federer is the safest blue chip. I'm going to put my wager there and let it ride, or you can go after probably a number of the guys in the second tier, I would say. But with Nadal potentially the knee injury limiting him, I'm not sure I see value there at 5-1.
Yeah.
Djokovic is recovering from his elbow injury. There's a little bit of sneaky kind of misinformation going on around Djokovic, and I kind of wonder if we see him in the exhibition coming up this week, if he looks like his old self. I'll probably sprinkle a little Djokovic action. But then beyond that, the market gets lean real quickly. So I guess, I think Federer as a sort of the safest blue chip 3-1 is pretty reasonable. And you can, if you're not going to watch a lot of the early action and you just want to have something in play on the men's side, I think that's probably the bet.
Yeah. We have the big names with a lot of injuries here. Is this sort of like making way for some newcomers, which actually on the price value have a better price there? What do you think, Alex? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah. Sorry, I said that I don't think that Roger Federer has pressure on him right now. He had no pressure last year when he won the Australian Open. He did an amazing year. All year long, it was amazing for Federer, who believed that at his age he can go and do so great matches, so amazing tournaments. I'm one of his biggest fans in the world. And I hope he will continue for another 2-3 years. Novak Djokovic, Nadal, not at all right now. I don't think that they will arrive in the second week. At least this is what I'm thinking about right now. Exactly like Whale Capper said, I'm going for a dark horse from the second tier of players with Kyrgios, Goffin. I don't know, Grigor Dimitrov there. It's a player to watch. But yeah, all eyes on Roger Federer. I don't know. He won the Hoffman Cup at the beginning of the year. He looks in great shape right now, and I think that we can see him at the top at least 1-2 years more.
Yeah, towards the end of the last season, Alexander Zverev was pitted as one to watch. Would you say that's the same this year, or is he still sort of too young? And that goes to Whale Kappa.
So until he really does make a true run in best of 5 tennis, I don't think he's fairly priced. We're looking at like 9-10 to 1 right now.
Yeah.
that's too short for a guy that has really never made it to the second week, except for what maybe I think he made it to round 4 in Wimbledon last year. I
Mhm.
wasn't really impressed with this play in the Hopman Cup. That could be a little bit of gamesmanship. He doesn't want to kind of let on what his what improvements he's made in his game in the off season. I would just like to see him make the second week before putting any kind of future action on him. And
Yeah.
that said, if he makes a slam final in 2018, am I going to be surprised? Absolutely not. I mean, he's of the young guys. He has the most talent. I'm just not sure the Australian Open is going to be where we see him emerge.
Yeah. Yeah. I sort of agree with you there. Alex, you on the same consensus?
Yeah, yes and no. I don't know. I will be surprised to see him to make a final, to make a Grand Slam final this year. I would be very surprised. I don't think that it's time for him to make a Grand Slam final. I think that in 2 years from now we will talk about this. Another talented, really talented guys, but mentally ill, let's say. It's Nick Kyrgios, who did an incredible start of the year 2018, won the first tournament on home soil in Brisbane. Maybe that is a really big boost of confidence for him going to the Australian Open. And for me, he is the dark horse in this Grand Slam, and he is priced at 17 right now with William Hill.
And do either of you guys like trade? You pick a player, for example, like Kevin Anderson, second in the U.S. Open. Bet on a long shot there and trade out as he makes his way sort of further through the competition. Alex, what players would you do that on, or are you going to do that at all?
Yeah, two players, Nick Kyrgios and David Goffin. I'm sure that both of them will make it to the second week, and I think that the cash out system that we have at our bookies online, for example, I'm using the cash out system very good on Betfair, for example, and with a lot
Hmm.
of success, they will give me a lot of money. But depends whom they will play next, because that is after the draw we will see from on what part of the draw they are and what are their chances to go further. But as two dark horses right now, yeah, Nick Kyrgios and David Goffin for me are very good players.
Yeah, we'll be back actually on Saturday as well with the draw. Joao from New Tennis Tipster will be joining us for that one. Whale Kappa, any sort of cash out options as well, trading players that you've got your eye on pre-draw?
I love that approach in major tournaments, but it's so tough for the Australian Open. Um, and this, I guess, setting up the tournament as a whole. In the Australian Open, you generally see upsets early, right? I mean, there usually are like 15 or so upsets in the first round, and then another 5 or 10 in the second round, and then it starts to go chalk. And so it's rare that you get a dark horse that really makes it far enough in the Australian Open to really extract real value. One of the reasons is it's a particularly fast court. So we already pretty much know who has the power behind their serve to just win easy
Hmm.
points. And so there's not a lot of surprises. That said, there are some guys that are down the list in the 100, 200, and 300 to 1 range that I'm probably going to take some shots on. But I don't really expect, I'm crossing my fingers that they get a good draw, that they maybe make it to the fourth round, and I can flip it for a blue chip type of player at that point. But this is probably the one tournament that doesn't really lend itself to catching any magic in terms of getting a run out of a long shot.
And I
Okay,
think that
interesting.
one of the reasons because of that, and I totally agree here, because it's the first major tournament of the year, and it's because it's very early January. You understand? Because this is the players are not 100% fit, 100% prepared. What they had two, three, maximum two tournaments before the start of the Australian Open, and we can all see big surprises starting the first round and on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tell you one, moving over to now to the women's singles and still very wide open. Serena not playing. Obviously, Serena won last year. Serena second. Venus second. She's quite a long shot this time, obviously, to win. Why is that? Question to Alex.
Serena is not playing because she gave
No,
birth
sorry,
4 months ago.
Venus, I meant, sorry.
Oh, Venus, I think that she's old enough not to take her in consideration to make it to the final stages of this tournament. Yes, she demonstrated last year that her age is not a problem and she can perform still at her best level. But I'm still not following. I don't understand why she's priced like that and why people are always talking about her. I think that if Serena Williams can have 2 3 matches, she doesn't need training. She could come here to win the tournament. I think that she is well prepared. Serena, I'm talking about Serena right now, and despite the fact that she gave birth 4 months ago and she got married and stuff like that, I think that 4 or 5 hours of training and she will be at the top of her shape and she can go deep in the tournament.
Okay. I have to say that on the women's singles, I think totally wide open in compared to men's singles. Have you got any eye on any of the players there? Well, Kappa.
Yeah, I agree about Venus being. Oh, I think she's probably priced fairly at 25 to 1. I think what she did last year was pretty impressive at the age she currently, in her 30s, being able to make a handful of finals was really impressive. But we saw a pretty clear pattern as the tournament goes on, and the wear and tear of playing regularly kind of catches up to her. And towards late in the tournaments, when the schedule kind of compresses and she would have to play back to back, she just didn't look like herself on the second day. I think that compounds itself in Australia in the heat. And for the players from the Northern Hemisphere, go down there in the heat, it's really tough on them. And I would expect Venus Williams is probably a candidate for getting shocked if she has to play a daytime match in the heat one of these days. As far as the women that I think have a legitimate chance at winning, the Alina Svitolina came into this season in really good shape. I had her for the Australian Open last year, and she disappointed. But it was mostly based on she just looked like she put on a lot of muscle weight last year, and this year she looks like she's got the same kind of muscle tone, but maybe even leaner. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see her in the final four come out of her quarter. I would say Angelique Kerber looks like she's in a lot better shape. We've seen her win 2 years ago. She was the champion here in Australia, so we know she can handle the conditions. She can handle the fast court. She looks like she's much healthier this year than she was at any point in the year last year. In fact, I'm looking forward to this Kerber Venus Williams match that's going to go on tonight. Will be very interesting to see who, if I'm reading correctly on how fit Kerber is. But Svitolina and Kerber really kind of stand out to me as the ones most worthy of backing. I think Pliskova's probably been overbought at 7 or 8 to 1, even though she's got an amazing serve, and this is a court that lends itself to that. I don't know if that's a fair price for her. Muguruza, same story. She looks, she went out with cramps in her first action of the season. She doesn't necessarily look like she's in major championship shape, so I wouldn't expect either of them to be worth backing. Simona Halep, as we know, is an amazing player, but this is if she wins her first major at Australian Open, I will be shocked. This is I maybe have her circled for French Open, but I don't see it happening here for her in Melbourne. Maria Sharapova and Wozniacki are worth a look. I don't particularly like either of their games for this tournament, but you never know. But Svitolina and Kerber are the two that really stand out to me of the top tier contenders for the women's side.
Yeah, and reading the comments as well. Dalo4 as well. Angelique Kerber looks good value. He says definitely looks like it's sort of wide open in the women's singles and something to really sort of bet with caution. Alex, are you taking any bets now? Is it better to wait till the draw after the first week? Very unpredictable, I think, is best to say.
Yeah, I will take to let. I don't consider that they are dark horses because the price is amazing for Elena Svitolina at 10 right now. It's amazing price for such a player. But hopefully, Well Capper will get shocked at the end of the tournament and Simona Halep will win the trophy. She's a great. She has a great mentality right now. She's working a lot. She's the best runner in the WTA. She has some amazing service lately. She improved big time her service. She started the year with a victory in Shenzhen, both in singles and in doubles with Irina Begu from Romania. So I think that we should take a look also at 9. She's priced 9.3 with the marathon bet to win the first major. She's the first number one. No, I don't. I don't. She's not the first number one without a major tournament, but hopefully 2018 will be her year and she will win a major. From the other point of view, yeah, I agree also with Dale that Dale for saying Van de Wege is always a dark horse on hard courts and 22-1. Are big odds for her right now. Ashley Barty, no, I don't think that Ashley Barty will go deep in this tournament. But I totally agree with Whale Capper with Elina Svitolina there. I don't like Muguruza, priced at 7.5, or also Sharapova, not at all. Where did they found to put Sharapova at 11? Come on, you must be joking here. What is this?
Well, Kappa, you look like you're agreeing.
Yeah, it's I mean, maybe they know something. I mean, when you see a price like this that doesn't really jive, and I would put Djokovic in this discussion as well. You see these prices and they don't necessarily add up. Um, Somebody may know something. Somebody may have, because there's a lot of information on social media about what these players are doing in the off season and what kind of shape they're in. And so a lot of what we're doing today is speculation because we haven't seen them play enough, or if we have seen them play, it's kind of warm up play. It's not really competitive play. So it's tough to really gauge. I would have guessed that, with Sharapova's not going to have a great draw. She's going to have to go through some tough competition like we saw at the U.S. Open. She had to play Simona Halep round 2. I could see something very similar working out where she has to go through a couple tough competitors early on in this tournament. And so, if you're willing to back her at 10-1, good luck. But that's a really short number for someone who we just haven't seen win enough consistently since she's made her return to the tour. But when it's that low, and I guess the other thing here is when you look at the top tier, the top tier women in terms of the betting market, there's not very many who have major winning experience, and so you kind of have to look at this in terms of, okay, do I think we're going to have a first time champion, or is there some value in someone like Kerber, Sharapova, or Muguruza based solely on the fact that they've done it before, and when push comes to shove and they're in a tight match in the semifinals or finals, they're going to get it done just because they have the confidence and the mental toughness having done it before. So maybe that's playing into it a little bit, but yeah, that's a surprising number, 10-1.
Yeah. Well, it
Yeah,
definitely seems we're sort of more. Sorry, Alex. It definitely
maybe she
seems that
will.
we're more on the fence with like on the women's singles. But what would you say, Alex? Sort of like moving forward, is the sort of the best approach? Is it to wait to the draw? Is it to play match by match? Is it because it is going to be really tough, I think, and I think a lot of people could lose money betting women's singles right now. What do you think is the best approach?
I always make more profit on the women's side, match by match. But also, I like how we went with Svitolina and Kerber and to cash out maybe in the second week. because they are priced at really big odds. I wouldn't take another approach. Even though I would love Halep to win this tournament, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go and. Yeah, I'm realistically talking, because if I'm judging with my heart, yeah, I will definitely pick Halep to win the tournament. But I'm sure that after the draws, we will have another image of the odds going up and down on both sides, also men's, also women's.
Yeah, yeah. Well, make sure also join Alex. You're going to be busy, aren't you, over on Odds Market and Bookmakers Review, daily tweeting your tips. Whale Capper, what do you do? Are you busy on your social feed there? Can our viewers follow you?
Absolutely. You can find me at Whale Capper, at Whale_Capper on Twitter. We're doing heavy duty NFL playoffs right now. Wild card weekend was just this last weekend here in the United States, and divisional playoffs this weekend for pretty compelling matchups from a handicapping standpoint. So we'll be doing podcasting and articles and graphics and projections for NFL football, and then by the end of this week, I'm going to have some tennis stuff coming out, and then I usually pick 5 or 7 matches a day on the men's side, and sides, totals, handicaps, things like that. And looking out for round 1, we're going to be trying to find the right underdog winners, and then from round 3 on, putting together the right parlays and things like that to make some money on the Australian Open.
Cool. Jed just has some questions about parlays, nice stuff. And Alex as well, where can we find also stuff that's happening with Need for Tips?
At Need for Tips on Twitter, and also follow us on Odds Market, our sister site, and Bookmakers News, also our sister site. You will find us every day there with the best previews from all the soccer leagues, all the top 5 soccer leagues. At SBR for sure, NFL and all the American sports. But we have also for the European people that love football, how we say it in Europe, soccer, how you say it in USA, and also great stuff from tennis. And MG tennis tipster Joao is busy with his previews on Odds Market and bookmakersreview.com. So follow us and enjoy the profit. Free. Everything
Yeah.
is for free.
There we go, guys. Back with some more tennis coverage on Saturday. Thanks once again to Whale_Capper and Alex from Need for Tips. Take care, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.